It's time. We are here at the top four. Players remaining are Nix, Witch King 6, Aridex, and MushyMango. Of note, this is the stage just before the finals, but none of these players are going to be ejected from the tournament if they lose. We've got a prize for 3rd and 4th place, so we're going to actually play those out to see who gets that. And for this cast, I'm going to see if I can get Ben on the line. Hello, Ben.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, just checking out the bracket. We've got Nix, and Witch King as one half, and we got Aridex and MushyMango as the other half. And yeah, this is not quite the finals, so these are both best of 3s. So this might be a really short cast because we've got 4 to 6 games.
True.
Some people who have been following along with the VODs might be wondering why Punishment didn't advance instead, having dropped no games. If you look at those games carefully, it turned out that not the correct list was used in multiple games. So, whoops, be sure to click on the right lists when you're playing in a locked deck format. So he benched his opponent instead. And we're going to be starting with that match. This is going to be a definitely Magmar style on one half. Versus the Cassie Zeron on the other half. We'll see if the ladies can take down the lizards. There's some interesting picks here actually for Nix's deck. I quite like the Viling, it's a new one, but I've actually never seen the Silver Tongue Corsair put to much use. But here it is.
I lost both games against his Starhorn deck.
As soon as the dragon shows up, it's an answer or die threat, right?
Yeah.
Pretty interesting stuff. And then the infamous Vath deck here with this Marauder that definitely won Nix the round of 8 match because it's a gigantic creature that keeps bouncing ownership. So you gotta really take care of who's got it. And Copiat had a winning game, but missed the sequence and handed the Marauder back over to Nix, who ended up taking that series.
Damn.
Yeah, pretty intense stuff. And then Witch King here could be potentially busting out Cassivas, got a very classic style of creep, can just be filling the board up with spikes, and has a Arcanist twist to this Witch King, or to the Zeron deck, that potentially could be generating spells with the Sun Sisters to rope, and then those spells will power up this Blue Conjurer, and all this other good stuff. But really, it's all about the gigantic attack power on that general. Cool stuff. Best of 3s all around. We'll introduce the next 2 players once we're through these 2 matches. Ben,
cool.
Are you ready for game number 1?
Ready when you are.
Hell yeah. We're going into Nix versus Witch King in 3, 2, 1, go.
Wow, I must have been gone from the game for a while. I completely forgot that there's different speeds.
Yeah, replays have a bunch of new buttons.
Yeah.
My overlay is blocking it entirely, but if I hide it, we can see there's a little bit of playing and the speed toggling and such. So if you're on mobile, you get the benefit of like a spacebar without needing to tap a spacebar. Just be careful not to hit those, otherwise it'll desync us. Witch King doing the diagonal step into diagonal summon for the Abyssal Crawler, which is pretty reasonable because if you take 2 steps forward and diagonal step it, you could potentially mess up your mana. So this is a way to go for the mana and make sure you don't just creep it. So pretty nice opener from Nix. To counter Witch King's opener, we have a Crater here that just pings everything. And it just has a ton of good matchups. In this deck, it's got a bunch of synergy, like this Deep Impact. Set something to 1, and then you can ping it.
Yeah.
Just in case this Marauder chooses the wrong side or something. So we've got the Sentinel here that generates a minion once a minion is played. Except it has a bit of a discount. Oh. Battle Tormentor is a really good value card. Assuming you've got a spot in your hand for it.
Yeah. Especially with that play, it worked out really well.
Yeah, because there's multiple ways to take care of this Marauder.
I'm kind of surprised Nyx didn't see that coming, because you can kind of tell which Sentinel it is, right?
Yeah, you can tell based on the deck list. So if your opponent is only running these.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact has 2 copies of that, but doesn't have any other Sentinel. But is just fine telegraphing the steal.
Yeah. I would have thought that Witch King would try to play something else so that the Marauder doesn't get copied, but he didn't really have anything to play.
Yeah. We see a Marauder get burned from overdraw. Or get, yeah, the gaze hit it. Natural Selection is taking out the other one. Or the one minion that was there for Witch King, so it's just down to Nyx with this one crater.
Could be some good damage next turn for Nyx with the Cryptographer, though.
Yep. Could potentially do a huge punch. This Dark Spine plays pretty nicely to block that.
Yep.
It doesn't have the mana left over for a Shadow Nova, which is kind of a shame. It doesn't have enough creep to kill this one minion with Munch. Could potentially use the Demonic Lure just to grab this minion, and definitely does that. Because otherwise Nyx getting the extra mana could have made a big difference.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's a War Beast angle, no? Get rid of it and then go for the double strike, yeah.
Yeah, it only takes 1 damage. And Witch King stuck in the corner at this point. Gonna have to run out. Does have a provoke 6 power, but might need to munch this Mechanter. We got Sorin Finale coming in for Nyx, so Witch King is on the clock. It might be... Yeah, Ping Munch.
Yeah.
Tiny amount of health, get that extra creep. Has multiple copies of Obliterate. That's a little unfortunate. Nyx could potentially drop a Drogon and just immediately pop up, hit for 8. Could drop the Marauder, which is a lot riskier because it'll just die, or it'll change sides because of the crater. So we're probably going to see a Marauder here from Nyx if he's playing out of his mind. And a Drogon if he just wants to push more than half the damage now. Seems
yeah. Cool. I think Marauder is not the go-to here.
Yeah. We see the lure here that'll immediately mess it up.
Yeah. I mean, Witch King doesn't have huge answers for the Marauder besides teleporting it, but based on the deck, it would usually have some way to deal damage based on the creep.
Yeah, this crater in the back becomes a liability because any minions that die cause it to flip its allegiance. Well, if a minion on its own team basically dies, it flips.
Yeah, but I think like at this point, right, the crater is far enough away where the only way you're getting to it is through spells, right?
Yeah, so like a Shadow Nova ping would do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the strongest move.
Yeah, Drogon for sure. This is a huge attack. And Witch King is pretty much not critical. Has to get out of the situation. Could buy a turn with Tormentor, but that'd just immediately get rebuked.
I think the tech is to do the demonic lure on the Drogon and summon, move back 2 and summon the ooze to protect himself.
Yeah, that seems pretty good because that'll generate some incidental creep, and then maybe a munch shows up.
Yeah.
And then Witch King's just gonna be holding on to this one obliterate because at some point it'll just end the game.
Yeah, I think like he needs to hit that 8 mana for Tormentor to be useful because then he can combine it with either a demonic lure or something else in his hand.
Right. Next turn is probably finality though. Well, depending on situation. Yeah. It might just be a rebuke, but that still buys Witch King a turn, so that's probably fine.
What?
What? We're gonna whip Drogon to the corner and then just slap it personally so it dies. Okay, well, this is...
I don't think that was the move.
Yeah, because now our Crater is just lethal. Any incidental
Well, Gaze is lethal.
Gaze is lethal!
He just wins.
Oh, I can't go this low against an opponent with this much incidental burn.
Damn.
Nix. Getting game number 1.
Yeah, I think he needed to teleport that guy out instead of moving him in.
Yeah, for sure. Just leave him somewhere because they don't have any way of getting their minions in the fray.
Yeah.
I guess was just really wanted to shut down everything and was concerned about the damage bump, but when your health is that low, you're not worried about any extra general damage.
No.
Ready for game number 2.
Yes, sir.
Let's go in 3, 2, 1, paste.
Okay, so same decks.
Oh.
Yeah.
We have a betrayal here for a funny way to deal with certain cards. Something like an Apex actually will just lose to it. These Marauders can do huge incidental damage with if that backstab shows up again for the betrayal.
I'm surprised we didn't see a mulligan from Witch Cannon.
Yeah, it was put back right away.
Hmm.
Because he had a betrayal in his hand and swapped it back.
Oh. Oh yes, right.
Yeah, DGG has like asynchronous turn ones. It's pretty nice.
Hmm.
So they can be stuck doing a selection and you just play out your thing. So Nyx is probably going to want a natural selection, the 1 minion to stop Witch's ramp. This is also a kind of line of play. Flashing out a Drogon.
I feel like that was kind of a waste of the Drogon, no?
Because now the Drogon will die to... Well, the BBS isn't online yet, but yeah...
No, but like with the Drogon, you're not getting active of the Blood Surge because 1, the general's not in range, and 2, you don't have the unit.
So it's effectively just like tempoing out.
Yeah, but it's gonna die. I don't think that was worth it. I think it was better to save it and not play anything.
Yeah, because hand efficacy is quite the resource. Now Nyx is down to just 3 cards and is.
And he can't play that Crater. He can't play the Crater.
Yeah.
And he also can't play the Marauder because he's just gonna get the Alchemist killed.
Yep. Kind of a dead turn. You don't want to use a Plasma on a pet.
Yeah.
Maybe Nyx does want to use Plasma on a pet. Nah.
No, he's just gonna hit it.
Just gonna punch it. Well, Witch King's gonna find himself trapped in the corner again if
Yeah.
heads there. So it's usually better to actually take one step from the corner. That way you've got 5 spaces they have to block. Witch King just gonna go right to the corner. I kind of disagree with that. One step up might have been better. Because now Nyx just needs to drop 2 things to do a complete wall out. I guess just the Marauders coming, but that's gonna be plenty. Witch King fortunately has a punish in hand, but doesn't have the ping ready to go. And doesn't have enough creep to just kill it.
Well, if he doesn't kill it next turn, I think he just loses. I think it's lethal. You have 4, this, 13 plus... Cancer. No, not quite lethal.
Maybe the play here is casting a Munch or casting a Shadow Nova for an even bigger Munch.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Munch is like a ping.
Yeah. I think that needed to happen. If they didn't get rid of the Marauder, it would have been too much damage.
Yeah.
And then he'd be back in the same position he was in last game.
Marauder just chunks through health so fast.
Yeah.
So pretty good play there, keeps alive. Has a Klaxon on the way, that's pretty nice, and has card draw. So although there's not much for cards in Witch's hand, these 2 cards have a lot of gas.
Yeah. And the use of Yielding Depths with it too to give some card draw is going to be really helpful.
Yeah. Next, probably looking at a War Beast just to clear the 2-1.
Yeah.
It's got
kind of an awkward position for the War Beast, though.
Yeah.
And I don't think it has enough effect for it to be worth playing.
Pushing 4 damage. Yeah, because Witch King's at 24 health. But going to 20
I think at that point you're just kind of sacrificing your War Beast for 4 damage, which I think onto War King at this point doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, so instead we see the Plasma.
Yeah. I think that was the better option, although he still has Klaxon and the Yielding Depths. I think it's more important right now to get the Yielding Depths out, because I don't think Nyx has the... Oh! No, Nyx wouldn't
actually
have the damage.
keeps Nyx stuck on the spikes.
That's true, yeah.
And there isn't quite enough to get rid of this Klaxon right now.
The only thing he'd be able to do is summon the War Beast and the Blood Tier. No, that wouldn't kill it.
It would have to be the War Beast and then punching.
Yeah.
But then that's a huge life chunk.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. He doesn't have any way to deal with it right now.
Yeah, and we're probably going to see Witch King replace and look for Obliterate.
Yeah.
Nyx does have a Sword of Finality though, so...
It's not looking too good for Nyx right now, though.
Yeah, not attacking the Klaxon seems like a better play here. Just ignoring it for now.
Although that's a lot of damage at the start of the next turn.
That's a lot of damage. Ooh, Abyssal Tormentor has been procured, so creep does damage equal to creep. It's like an obliterate every turn.
Good. And it's his turn. It's gonna. I have a feeling he's gonna do that. Yep. Attack and then he dies. Yeah, Witch King wins.
Yep. Has 8 creep exactly, but just gonna slash for good measure.
Yeah.
Ooh. Really nice to answer these threats and really nice way to push damage. Witch King tying up the series.
It's unfortunate. I think Nyx had some pretty bad card draws that game.
Yeah, there were a lot of dead turns and a lot of having to spend a lot more mana to deal with a lot less mana, so it was just kind of behind in that investment. Okay. Is it time for game number 3?
Indeed.
We are going into it in 3, 2, 1, let's go. It is Nyx versus Witch King 6. They are both one matchup. So
they're running the same deck all 3 games.
And all 3 games, same deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the rule this time
I have not seen that artifact before.
The Ghost Azale. Oh, I guess you haven't seen a lot of La Boulanger on ladder. This is the Le Baker's special. It's quite nice. It's like an obliterate that you can just carry around with you and hit them with a gigantic amount of damage. So you don't want to hang out around Cassie if she's got a bunch of creep.
Yeah.
She's even scarier than Voth. And winner of this goes to grand finals. The loser goes down to the third, fourth place match, which will just be a best of 3. The finals.
Witch King doesn't have a. Witch King does not have a lot of answers right now. Nothing that would really progress the game too much. I mean, the Dark Spine to get the.
Well, Bound Tormentor is probably just gonna find the Kajuda, which is like whatever. So Witch King dropping some other stuff instead. We've got the Dark Spine. And 2 mana going to waste? That's too bad.
Yeah.
Maybe would have been better off just positioning to capture some mana next turn.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate that Nyx had a dead turn on turn 1. Wasn't able to play anything.
Yeah, because Judo was late. It's only here now.
I mean, the move onto mana Crater play could be the move.
Yeah, it takes care of the crawler.
Yeah, and then you run Kajada for some backline and be able to use it to spawn out the War Beast next turn if you want.
Yeah, it seems better than flashing on a War Beast, which is also legal. But Plasma Storm is also a 2-for-1, which is marginal.
Yeah, you could run a Plasma Storm. No.
Crater though gets a body on the board.
Yeah.
Opting to not spend the 2 mana on the Kajuda, just gonna save that.
Weird. I feel like he has enough high health minions that the Kajada would be helpful.
Maybe it would have been a liability because Punish will be able to hit anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of an empty turn for Witch King, so gonna see the whip to just take care of the
okay.
creature.
Yeah.
And a ping to generate a creep.
It's a good play.
I probably would have spawned the creep diagonal down right of the general instead of in the back line. But maybe this is the play around Lightbender, so it's harder to dispel. Although Nyx not running Lightbender, so it doesn't really matter.
Nyx doesn't have too many options here right now.
Yeah, because running away to get the mana, the Mechantor chipping in for like 2 damage on the general only doesn't sound great. But there's, I guess it has to be Entropic Gaze to find another play. But then there's potential for burning a card.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna see Tracer to get into the backline to punch out the Darkspine Elemental.
That was a good play.
Yeah, I like it. This Tracer can just grab the mana. Could it finally be time for the Bound Tormentor? It's time for the Bound Tormentor. Although it's placed in a weird spot. I would have put this in the back line, because this could have been a Mechantor Warbeast, but now it's just going to get smashed by Voth. I guess just really wanted a blocker.
Yeah, I don't know why though. I mean, I wouldn't be too afraid of the 3 damage, even going up against the...
Well, there's like a Drogon, or not Drogon, but like yeah, the BBS combo could have actually potentially hit hard. But we see the Warbeasts. Goops. Witch King's in the blunder now. It has a Betrayal in hand. This is a really nice late game surprise, but it's gonna take some 9/9s showing up for that to be any good. Heal up with the blade. Could potentially munch, but just gonna use this lure onto the spikes for the War Beasts. Okay, not bad. The Crater is actually gonna be pretty nice for chipping down this artifact. It souls this Gaze.
Yeah.
In fact, how about Gaze into Gaze? Klaxon getting burned. I used to only play Entropic Gaze in like a Starhorn deck that has like Decimus and stuff. But it seems really nice here just for pushing a little bit of bonus damage.
I think the play here is you run the Overload, Bloodborne spell.
Yeah.
Rush and summon Blood Tear for the extra damage.
Yeah, War Beast is slightly out of range.
Yeah. Boom.
Here's a Flash Crater. Just to really block out the mana time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, that was good as well.
That could have been like an Obliterate mana.
That was really good by Witch King. By Nyx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pings from the Alchemist and from the Crater. Witch King's gonna have to rely on provoke minions by the looks of it. Can't heal up much with Munch because this thing's only have 1 hit point.
I think you use the demonic. Oh no.
A ping and a tormentor. Oh, Night Fiend for the extra ping, which is a little better because tormentor would have just been immediately bopped.
Yep.
Leftover mana for news.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah. We see.
Yeah, it's game.
War Beast clears away. Does a ton of damage in the meanwhile too. Congratulations, Nyx. Going to the grand finals. And Witch King's gonna be duking it out for the 3rd and 4th place match. Yeah, that brings us to our other half, where we've got aridex and MushyMango. And over here, who knows what they'll play. All I can tell you is aridex is packing a ton of Dagona. We got 3 fish in one deck and 2 fish in another deck.
Huh.
Has Dying Wish synergy for 1 to get the discount, and has a lot of Dispel on the other side. And
I love seeing Fae. It's so fun.
The Fae deck, one of the tricks with it is this Wisp comes out to eat mana, and then the fish eats the Wisp, so the mana doesn't get back.
Yep.
Some funny stuff there. MushyMango is also running Fae, but has a more straight up deck style with like spawning a bunch of tokens, giving them a bunch of buffs with Razorback. Has a lot of damage with the artillery setup with the Bloodbound Mentor. So does aridex. And then on the peripherals, we've got Sinus Sag, which is also a Golem deck, but a lot of artifacts. And we've got Skin Soldier Mave, which we talked about a little bit. We'll see if Reaper of 9 Moons can do any good plays. Doesn't have the Grimes for the filthy plays, but 9 Moons is still pretty much an approximation. Alright, ready for game number 1 of our 2nd series.
Yep.
aridex versus MushyMango, going in 3, 2, 1, click.
We have the Golem deck.
Nice. So Siroka's gonna get pumped. A lot of Golo, or we got the EMPs at least on aridex's side. The Dispel theme is pretty nice. You get stuff like the Moose and the Gatekeeper, and they can suddenly just reach out and destroy your opponent.
Yep.
Has the Rift Beast for refill. We got a 3D card back on Droplift. Don't think we've got anyone left with gold card though. So here's a strong play: Gatekeeper in the middle, and the Rift Beast in the back. This is like the dream setup.
Yeah, it's really perfect right now.
It's like the ultimate DGG board state.
Yeah, and sitting on a lot of Dispel right now.
Yeah.
I think next turn depending on what happens, looking at the Bloodbound double Bloodborne spell could be really fun.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, single Bloodbound spell with the copy.
Yeah. Mentor.
Oh, actually, you could do the double. But he's not... Mushy isn't really in the right position to get hit by that from aridex.
MushyMango goes ahead and throws on the Thunderclap, which makes a copy of the menu as you destroy it. Which mostly was played so Adam Klinger down here gets pumped up.
Yeah.
Thunderclap, one of the more convincing cards for Sag. It's like a reason to pick the general. Pretty nice when you can just make copies of the enemy, and stuff like this Lightbender doesn't do anything about it. It just feeds it. Okay, Mentor in the back. Rift Beast to grab the mana. 2 helpings of Warbird, and the artifact just falls off.
Yeah. Good destruction of the artifact.
Yeah.
Not even really using too many of his resources.
MushyMango is basically banking that this Mentor wouldn't show up, or that a Crypto wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
But this Bloodbound Mentor is basically worst case scenario, because there's not a lot of ways to reach. Gonna need something like the Blast Artifact to reach.
Yeah, there's really not a ton that MushyMango can do at this point.
Yeah, this Gatekeeper takes 2 hits while pumped up with Sonic Strike to deal with, so it's just gonna get hit by this minion. Get ignored. Because we got the Scorn to finish it.
Yeah. Great play.
Yeah.
For the Scorn, yeah.
It's gonna be able to approach this Bloodbound Mentor, Bloodborne Mentor. I'm never gonna not call it Bloodbound Mentor. Or Bloodborne Mentor. I'll just alternate between them as it goes. A lot of copies of Hailstone Prison.
Yeah, a lot of copies.
But activating Scorn again doesn't sound right. But it's better than giving them a 4/4. Summons the illusion to the right of MushyMango. I guess to trap them in and to play around Blast.
Well, MushyMango does have another Thunderclap in hand.
Yeah, and could actually reach this Mentor with this Time Maelstrom.
True.
Stuff like Blistering Scorn and the Naga are great when you've got this Iris Barrier going.
Yeah, definitely.
No drawback. Sister to rearrange.
Very good use of the sister there.
Yeah, just deletes 4 toughness minions like they weren't nothing.
Ooh, this is dangerous. I think this is game. If MushyMango can't do anything here, I think aridex has lethal next round.
Yeah, there's just so much coming in with the BBS, and there's no healing from MushyMango. Was able to at least steal a minion on the way out and draw some cards. And there is a healer, but yeah, we see BBS actually needs to be online. But the Crypto can just refresh it, and there's enough mana to jam it twice. Game number 1 goes to aridex.
Very well played.
Yeah. Maybe we'll actually get a deck mix-up this time, or maybe these guys will just keep jamming it back. MushyMango would possibly be walking into a mirror match if switched to his Fae.
Yeah, I would be interested to see the Abyssian deck.
Yeah, that one. If it gets going, I've become a believer of the multiple rights of the Undervaults because he just draws so many cards and can make so many plays.
Yeah.
All right, game number 2. Ready for the countdown.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Let's go into game 2. Aridex currently has got an advantage.
Mirror matchup.
Mirror matchup. Faye and Faye. MushyMango
I
left side
absolutely love the Sunset Paragon.
Yeah. There's a huge player in decks that don't have access to spells, like the Titan deck I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Wanderer loves it too. Stuff scales out of control and you just drop that and it all goes away.
Yeah, very good.
Turn 1 Jaxi, pretty nice.
Lots of gatekeepers over for the side of MushyMango.
Yeah.
I mean, for Aridex.
Aridex could potentially drop a Lightbender right after. Maybe get 2 of them moving at once.
Yeah.
Maybe throw a Moose in there.
I think Aridex has a really good opener right now.
Yep.
With the double Lightbender.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This deck
That Malicious Wisp played in the back could be really detrimental to Aridex. I feel like he needs this next turn with the 4 mana to be able to play his key.
Yeah, because this Gatekeeper can't do the diagonal step to get the mana, so it's actually not as much mana for Aridex as you might think.
Yeah.
And that sounds like a good way to blow open the mirror matchup, just having more mana every turn.
Yeah.
And Silence only benefits the Wisp.
Yep.
So gonna position to get this bottom mana. And here it is.
Yeah, behind. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Good play.
Aridex, here's his 3 mana turn.
So he can get to 5 mana if he uses everything.
Yep.
But I don't think it's worth it. He could do it to get the Bloodborne and or get the Gatekeeper and the Rift Beast going.
There's a 50-50 that if Jaxi dies, the mini Jax is in a corner that the general can just take out. But if you lose that coin flip, you're not going to have a good time. So maybe not taking it is the play. Maybe silencing this is the play. Even though it's just like a single Jax.
Yeah.
Could be
I don't know. I think
Gatekeeper takes a step up. Spoiling this bottom mana might be important though.
Yeah, I think what Aridex needs to do is he needs to take the mana in the bottom. Oh, he's gonna go.
Oh, operational attack.
So he can move regularly. Yeah. And to get rid of the mana orb. That was smart.
Yeah.
Good play by Aridex.
Pretty frightening minion here. It always sucks to replace into Kron because now you can't get the Kron minion right away.
Yeah. Good use of the mini Jax too.
Yep. Jax is in a corner that is going to be safe now because this elf is back in hand.
Going to say you could Bloodbound Mentor into a double cast, but it's probably more useful to summon it back to the deck, back to hand. So.
Gatekeeper somewhere could potentially do some trouble.
Is it the Kron play with the replace, I think?
Kron to replace? Yeah, because replacing to find the Razorback once you've already got the the Drax Chew Site is real good.
And I think like moving that Wisp over to draw attention, or even the Kron there, yeah, that works too.
Oh, Broken Captive shows up. Pretty busted.
Very good, yeah.
Malicious Wisp, possibly trading into Gatekeeper to give back the mana? Nah.
No, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, keeping the mana is better.
Yeah, I mean, Gatekeeper dies to Kron. He needs to. Aridex would need to consume 2 hits to kill it. He doesn't really have an answer for it at the moment. Oh.
Okay.
Weird.
Really wants to give Kron as much support as possible.
Yeah.
At the cost of his health bar, just down to 12.
Yeah, I don't think that was a smart idea.
Wouldn't have made that same play.
Yeah. I mean, you can still get the Kron minion with the replace. You can position it over to the right side so it can't actually get attacked.
MushyMango was hoping for Kron to spawn in the middle of all of this stuff, so it could be aspect of the mountains, but instead it's way back
I was kind of hoping that this Kron would be moved over to the top side of the general, because the gatekeeper wouldn't be able to access him.
Yeah.
And then you can summon the vassal, hopefully spawning it on the side of the wisp.
Gatekeeper trades pretty efficiently.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
True sight. We don't have the Razorback support, but there's just a ton of 1/1s everywhere. It's probably gonna. Well, EMP is gonna be a turn too slow to deal with it. And it's time for the Wisp to fight. Oh, and a Razorback shows up.
I don't think this is good, actually. You can get. I guess it is. You can't do much about it. Never mind.
Yeah, aridex seems to be in a huge situation, but here's Sunset Paragon to do some kills. Finally gets that 1 mana back.
Yeah.
But Razorback contributes so much extra damage, the game's just over.
It is, yeah.
Tying up the series. MushyMango going 1/1. Busting out the Fae turned out to be the play.
I'm hoping we see the Abyssian.
Maybe the Abyssian's the X Factor. Sometimes I see that players will often switch off their deck when they've lost with it. So maybe that's what's going on here.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I'm ready when you are.
Alright, we're going into the last game of the night in 3, 2, 1, click.
Oh, it didn't copy.
Uh-oh.
If
False
you want
start.
to quit.
False start.
Whoops. We are ready now whenever you're ready to go.
Okay, we're going to re-roll that music in 3, 2, 1, click.
There we go.
Alright, we're in.
Mirror match again.
We got the Abyssian music. Because Abyssian's here in spirit. Aspect of Mountains gets shuffled back. MushyMango has a pretty slow turn 1, but a 3/2 is better than nothing, so here it is.
Yeah. Lots of options for aridex.
Yeah. Circulus plus the spell, or the spell refresher here.
Yeah. The access of the Bloodbound spell actually puts aridex in a pretty good position, being able to kind of control the board and not allow MushyMango to walk up.
Because the usual play of doing the diagonal step and then another diagonal step and getting both manas would potentially not be so good, or taking 2 steps into the middle is like a disaster.
Yes.
So MushyMango's gonna have to play this wide.
Oh, the wisp
in the back. It worked last time.
Yeah. It did work last time. It will likely not work this time, though.
Nope. We got the Timely Heart Sister.
Yeah, the wisp gets
the refresh from
put out of its misery.
Toasted. MushyMango's gonna need to find another route to victory. Maybe it's a 5/5 elemental.
Well, you could go onto the mana with the general.
Yep.
Put the alchemist to get the double bloodborne. The mentor, sorry.
Yep, double
and
it
that's
up.
what's going to happen.
Gets rid of Circulus.
Yep. Actually puts MushyMango in a really good position, but aridex likely going to counter with the wisp. Yeah.
Wisp of his own.
Yep.
$18 apiece.
Yeah. Although aridex is in a very good position with MushyMango only going on to 4 mana next turn.
The mentor probably not as good as having the wisp at this point in the game, because there's going to be so much more coming out of the battlefield on aridex's side, and there's no way to deal with this wisp. Like, Hailstone Prison is the last thing you want to do to it. It's also annoyingly occupying the corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get to it. It pushes you away from the general, which is really good for aridex.
Yeah. MushyMango could really go for a cryptographer here, but Gonna have to do a smaller play.
Yeah.
Basilisk?
I think it's a Basilisk.
Yeah, this thing's great. Every spell cast gives it +3/+3 on its 2/2
Although
base.
the way to get rid of it, Aridex could Hailstone Prison it back to hand.
Yep. We'll see it grow for a second and then disappear. Which is probably the play, because there's not
I think so.
a way to take out of it. Can't get destroyed otherwise.
Yeah, I agree.
And then
I
once
think
his
it's
gatekeeper's out, I can just smash it.
Yeah, I think it's the Hailstone Prison into Gatekeeper, so you can have the Gatekeeper up for the second summon.
Yep. Gatekeeper pretty incredible in this deck, not just because of the silences, because of all these sisters too.
Yeah.
Gets it where it needs to be.
Or even the self-silence on the Lightbender.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
there's Moose. Maybe it'll get loosed. Not with this hand, at least.
No.
Okay, it is the Moose time. Well, these are certainly stats.
Yeah.
Okay, this 3 cost and this 4 cost.
Yeah, I mean, the Sentinel, I guess, doesn't really need to be dispelled as long as you're not casting anything.
Yeah. And it's easy to play around it once you know which one it is.
Yeah. I think Aridex is in a really good position to set up for end of game with the Dragona.
Yeah.
I think
Takes
there's
care
not
of it,
really,
right?
yeah, there's not really much you can do. The
Well,
Lightbender doesn't help MushyMango at all.
Dragona only answers a fifth of Jack's True Sight, though. There's going to be a lot of tiny things to overwhelm it. That's one way.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, Lightbender is, or Gatekeeper is out for return. Hailstone Prison sending it back. I guess just so this Sentinel can get in. So far it's just staring menacingly. It might have been better to attack with it and then heal it up, but opting to heal up his own general.
Yeah.
Knows that he doesn't have to play around Fisher, suspiciously just sitting in the middle column.
Yeah.
It is a really funny ladder deck, though, if you just have a bunch of Fishers, because it's 3 mana for 8.
True.
Pretty nice.
I think
Think it's time for the fish on the Sentinel?
no, I don't
on the
think so.
Minotaur.
Well, you could put the Dragona up on the Sentinel, and then next turn you can put in place to get the Hearth Sister out, so you can slap for the 8 on the Dragona, but he's going for the Paragon instead.
Yeah, Paragon plus Gatekeeper gets
Yeah.
rid of all the immediate threats and generates this threat. And
Yeah.
Moose is online now.
Yeah, and moving the Wisp over to occupy the corner in case Jack's
Yeah.
True Sight comes out,
Perfect time.
and to get it away from the attack on the Bloodwing, which is
just
really
as
good.
the 6 mana turn rolls around.
Yeah.
Of course, we got the 9 mana turn incoming for aridex, so it's been an uphill battle the whole time for Mushy.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's unfortunate again getting the reroll on the Kron.
Yeah. You want to draw into Kron, you don't want to replace into it.
Yeah.
So here's
Oof.
5 damage, and then it can attack again for 10 damage. So I'm just going to swing with the general because it's exhausted. It's coming.
It is coming.
Could potentially jump forward with his sister.
Yeah.
That's going to do so much damage.
Oh, and the disappear.
Yep.
Yep, and the Dragona. Kind of figured.
8/8
This is
in the
looking
face.
really rough.
Yeah. The Dragona could be transformed into a 5/5, but that's pretty much the whole turn.
Yeah. I think it's still game ending. It is. Aridex wins.
Pretty much, yeah. If this Dragona can get cracked open, there's at least a free minion in here for MushyMango, but the problem is, the way to deal burst damage with this deck is 5 at a time with this aspect of the
Yeah.
ends. That's not going to cut it.
I mean, even if you turn the Dragona into the 5/5, it's lethal for Aridex next turn with the Bloodbound.
It could at least be sent back with the Hearth Sister. Something like a Malicious Wisp and the Hearth Sister can push the Dragona back a bit.
That's true.
Placing both those diagonally probably.
Or, yeah.
And then just fading back, hoping for some kind of removal. Or burst damage. Only having 12 hit points is pretty sketchy. But at least there isn't a Mentor to double it. We're not setting it back.
This is lethal. No?
Well, the Hearth Sister can still move Dragonona up, but then it just hits anyway. The Moose clears the way.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're gonna see Hearth Sister.
I mean, you summon Paragon Sunset right beside the Dragona, kill Hearth Sister and Wisp.
Kill Dragona?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, this thing would hit Dragona. So it looks like MushyMango bought a turn, but the Hearth Sister can still move something in. Doesn't look like there's any escape. Hydro Guard was a kind of lockdown, but that doesn't stop the BBS threat. Gonna need something else.
I think you go Hearth Sister up top, above the other Hearth Sister to move the Dragona. And then you have the Moose come in.
Moose takes out probably the Wisp.
Ooh, very good. Yeah,
that's a good
that's
play.
a really amazing play. Yeah.
2-1 to extend it and a swap. There actually was
GG.
all along. Aridex.
Wow.
Dancing to the
Really,
finals.
really strong play by aridex there. I didn't even see that.
Yeah. that was a pretty good lethal puzzle that he solved there.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. All right, well, that does it for today. For recap, we've got Nyx advancing over Witch King with the 2-1, and we've got aridex advancing over MushyMango with the 2-1. So we'll have in the grand finals Nyx versus aridex, and then facing it out for the third and fourth place, we'll have Witch King 6 and MushyMango scrapping it out. Ben, thanks again for joining. It was a great cast.
Thank you for having me. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, time for me to go to bed.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
We are
Good
done.
night.
Have a good one.